Hello everyone, this is Tony from Two Copper Pieces, the beardless one, and this is episode 4 of Stormbringer, where we look at issue 4 of Stormbringer. And in this episode, a very exciting one because they have sent me some paints. I can actually paint the minis finally. I'm very excited about this. They've also sent a little brush. We'll see how far I get with that. And there is, as ever, some lore. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing, I think. Well, no, that's not true. I'll be telling you a bit about the lore if I can squeeze it in. This gives you a lot of advice about brushing and how to paint, and I'm going to be following their advice as best I can. Now, I've been painting minis for a while. I wouldn't say I'm an expert necessarily, but I definitely have some skills, and these step-by-step instructions that they give you are not really how I would do it. Now, I learned to paint by watching YouTube tutorials, a bit like this one, and they were very helpful indeed, and I've picked up a lot of advice from some excellent YouTubers over the years about how to paint minis, and I've also applied some of that to develop my own style in some way. I really felt like speed painting, especially focusing on getting minis done quickly and effectively to the best standard in the Venn diagram of like effort and time spent versus the look of it. I'm trying to aim for the middle of that Venn as best as I can, but I do tend to lean towards the speed side much more. So yeah, I'm going to try their way, and then I'm going to comment on it, and then I'm probably going to be releasing another video painting some of these minis in my own style. Originally, I was going to follow their steps completely for all of the minis, but I just can't bring myself to do it, I'm afraid. So you might particularly like this style. I'm using their brush, and I'm applying the first coat, and as you can see, I've already changed to a much bigger brush to apply my coat, because trying to coat a mini with a really thin brush is just going to take you ages, and it's going to be really streaky and frustrating and annoying, and you feel like you have to keep going back over the same thing. It's going to leave weird texture on there, so just get a thick brush and slather it on there as best you can. This guide recommends 3 coats, and as underneath here you'll see a little guide about how they look at first, second and third coat. So I'm doing the 3 coats. I'm alternating between the gold and then the green, and this is where we'll be going afterwards. I'm just looking at where the highlights or the second layer of base coating is, I guess. Something that's a bit strange about this method, or something that I find a bit strange, is that there's no priming. So I guess this is the priming stage. Maybe their plastic is prime ready. There's no mention of priming your miniatures in here at all, and that is just a bit unusual. I always prime the miniatures, and I tend to do a version of slap chop where I prime them, and then I'll raise the level of light. So I'll prime them in black, and then do a heavy dry brush in grey, and then a lighter dry brush in white to try and get some good contrast and values in there. Yeah, this isn't that at all. This is one whole colour of the entire mini, followed by some other colours picking out different spots in different colours. They've chosen some good colours, like the blue and the gold go together very nicely. And here's some advice about thinning your paints. And I've never really thought about this much before. And I suppose because they have those paint from the pots, which you can, if you want to paint properly, you wouldn't usually do anyway. And they give you advice about pulling some paint off, wiping it on a palette, then getting some water and mixing the water into it on the palette. That's good advice for thinning your paints, I think, in just using water to thin them. It's good starter advice, absolutely. You will find sometimes that maybe you make it a bit too runny and you have to add some more paint to it, which is what I'm doing here. You can see I'm just using the lid of a jam jar. But yeah, you can get a good consistency that way, and you can test it to find out how you like it, figure it out, try and get the right consistency that works for you. I must say these paints, Lead Belcher Metal, or whatever it's called, and the gold that comes with it are really good quality metallics. I don't usually often paint with metallics because I don't think they apply very well, but these, they really do look gorgeous. The blue is okay. I think it probably didn't need to be thinned down quite so much. It probably needs another coat on the shield, but I think it's still got a good contrast with the gold there. So really impressed with the paints overall. The green is meh, I'd guess. And with the Lead Belcher, it doesn't really contrast, but hopefully when we add details later, those models will pop as well. Like I said, I'm only doing 2 models, and that's the 2 from the beginning episode, the leader from both armies, essentially. I already can't remember their names. I'm sure that it's in the booklet somewhere. And if you are interested in it, you'll go and get them and find out for yourself. But yeah, this is a paint scheme for the Stormcast Eternals, which are the gold and blue ones, and the Cruel Boys, which are the orky, goblin-y things, whatever they are. But yeah, so what I'll be doing, like I said, is I'll release another video where I paint these minis in a different style, which I think is just going to look a lot better and be a lot more effective. It is exciting to get some paint on these minis finally, though. I hope you are enjoying watching the paint go down. A little bit, it's a little bit slow burn, this magazine. I've already got issue 5 and 6. And I'm telling you now, there's no paint in them. So we've laid down base coats. They're clearly not finished. And apparently that doesn't matter. We've got some more minis again. We've got some, I think just minis. They've sent me more dice, more plain white dice. You'll see them in a future episode. I don't know why I needed more dice. Anyway, if you're enjoying this content, this is useful to you or helpful, if you could subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. And otherwise, I'll see you next time. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye.